I had a student, in my entire class in fact, I had them go through and make particular annotations on the goldfish story. And I told them that I was going to come back through and check their annotations, but clearly I made a mistake because I could see the annotation, some of the information, but I couldn't see any of the highlighting, and I know that they did that. So that's one thing that I would like to figure out and do better, because I think the annotation is such a nice component to the book, but I don't know how to use it.
So I've had the same problem too when I was actually trying to make a model of my own metacognitive markers for Letter from Birmingham Jail. I wanted them to highlight something in a certain color for ethos, but then also annotate it, and none of my stuff was saving. So after playing around with it, what I realized is that they first need to highlight on HMH and save the highlight. And there's a button where it says Save to My Notebook. So they need to click Save to My Notebook, and then they need to click the green Save button. And then they're done. And so now the highlight is saved. But then we want them to make an annotation too. So then they click on that highlight, and after they click on it, and I have it up here on the screen, after they click on that highlight, then they can go back, and there's a box there for them to annotate. They'll annotate their question or their comment, and then they'll click Save to My Notebook again, and then the green Save button. And so then when you hover over it or you click on it,
It just pops up.
It pops up both as a highlight and an annotation.
Okay, that's a really nice feature, and it also worked well for the tone lesson, where they were able to highlight the different tone words, negative and positive, as they were going through the poem, and be able to also annotate those things.
And I think it was something that I actually did in my classroom today, and it was that really direct instruction. No, follow me, let's highlight together, save our highlight. Okay, now go back to the highlight. And once the kids get that pattern, I think it will be okay. But initially, it did take some time for them to learn it. So I think it's just going to be about practicing and reminding them to save into their annotations.
And that's another thing that I'm noticing about the practicing element. The first day we used the It's Learning and combined the HMH lesson, it took us a long time to get everybody logged in, to get everybody settled into the process. And there were fires that needed to be put out. Day 2, it took half the time. Day 3, I barely had to give them instruction. I said, log on to It's Learning, you remember how to do it, get there, get to the textbook, and then they were able to use those features.
So I think that's going to be the same with HMH. It's going to take that time. The first few days are going to be slow with the highlighting, but I think once they've gotten used to it, just like anything, they'll be able to do it. Another cool feature you might want to have with your students for HMH, I know when we get to Letter from Birmingham Jail, they have to make these like metacognitive markers. Well, one of the cool things about HMH is it lets you tag. And I was trying to explain to my students, just like when you tag in Facebook, you tag a friend, and so I'm pulling up my HMH as an example, but you can literally, it will say save as a tag. So one of my metacognitive markers is just a question mark, like I want the students to create a question.
So you do the asterisks for those ideas that connect to the central, or those things that connect to the central idea.
Exactly. So I'm going to just show you exactly what I mean right here. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice anywhere. Well, I have already highlighted this, saved the highlight, and then after I did that, I wrote my note. And my note is an exclamation point and the double stars, because the exclamation point, if you remember, was our metacognitive marker for this is written beautifully, and then double stars was the central idea, which is the objective for Letter from Birmingham. And so I wrote, this is a beautiful example of parallelism, so that's why I like it, because literature was written well. But it's also, I believe, a central idea to his argument that a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice anywhere. Well, so then what I did, at the bottom it says enter tag. All I did was put an exclamation point, and then I saved it.
So they can, when they're searching their tags, they can pull up all the tags of that type in the document. So that'll help them when they do their final summative assessment
discussion. They can go all to their question mark tags, and now I know, hey, these are the questions I want to focus on for my discussion. Or for if I'm writing a summative essay, here are the main ideas. And you as the teacher can also search tags. And that's pretty cool.
Are you able to show how you pull up the tags?